Nick, there's so much to talk about, so let's dive straight into the first big topic on PST this week. The January transfer window, it's open. There's some deals, it's kind of slow start, building up a little bit, I feel like, as we get towards the middle of January. Always is this way, right? And some teams start to panic now around this time and just looking to see what's out there and getting the deals in place. But my question to you really first is, which Premier League team needs to do the most business? But firstly, I'm going to wrap up what's been done so far. I mean, Gakpo to Liverpool is the biggest deal. Joao Felix to Chelsea on loan from Atletico Madrid is one that's really intriguing. I'm not sure how much that helps Chelsea out in the short or long term. It's a short-term loan, so we'll wait and see. But then Southampton have made some moves. They needed to. Orsic, and then Carlos Charlie Alcaraz coming into them. Moreno turning up at Aston Villa down the left flank, and then Wout Weghorst about to arrive at Manchester United at the time of filming as well, on loan from Burnley after working wonders at Besiktas and playing well in the World Cup and those two big goals as well for the Netherlands. So firstly, though, which club do you think really needs a big January and do business? Because as we said, it's just a slow burner this January window so far.
Yeah, look, there's a team that I'm not sure that they have these gaping holes, although Andy, if you were here, would tell you, and that's Tottenham Hotspur. But I think they need a big January in two ways. One, they definitely need to firm up their team. They need some sort of injection that tells the fan base, hey, we're backing Conte. If Conte leaves, it's going to be his call. But I also think off the field, on the field, if they don't add guys, they need to win some games. And they're just a team that needs to get some performances and get people feeling good about them. I think you can look around. Arsenal's obviously feeling good about itself. We know Man City has terrific depth. Man United has added a striker who I think we can all agree, while not a superstar, is going to add the depth that they're looking for. And the Felix and Gakpo moves were huge. So who's the team left out there? It's Tottenham, and their place on the table is looking uncertain. Would you agree?
I agree with you there. I think they need a boost. I think there's a few other teams who are kind of in that realm where Chelsea's just buying players almost for the sake of it, like it's going out of fashion without any real plan, it seems, at least short term right now for Graham Potter. But they have a lot of injuries, so it's hard for them at the moment. But yeah, Tottenham, wide players, I think fullback areas is where they need to strengthen, probably another centre-back. They've been linked with Trossard, which I think would be a really good addition for them if they could get that over the line, considering his contract situation with Brighton. But yeah, I think kind of looking further down the league, a team like Everton definitely needs a big January and needs to back Frank Lampard. But I don't know if they can with the financial situation, moving to a new stadium. They've already said the kind of purse strings are a bit tighter, but after losing Richarlison last summer, haven't really replaced him, and you're taking out goals, assists, the key player there in that team. And I feel a bit sorry for Frank Lampard. And I think most Everton fans do, right? They don't really blame him for their current predicament. It's more anger directed at the board and the plan. And again, I think having a plan, Nick, and having a clear idea of what you want to do in these transfer windows is what sets the steady clubs and the sort of clubs who are on the up from the teams who look like a mess and are really dropping throughout this season. So I think Wolves are going to be interesting as well, given that Lopetegui, his name, already getting Cunha on loan is a really good piece of business. And, like I said before, Southampton have made a few good signings, but they need a bit of help as well, especially going forward if they're going to get themselves out of trouble. But in terms of the top four and title race, are there any key additions that teams can make to kick on? I'm thinking about your Newcastle side. Do they need any additions? Or Arsenal in particular, right? They've been linked with Mudryk all January long throughout December to kind of come in and help that rotation, because Martinelli, Nketiah, Odegaard, Saka pretty much just being rolled out of there in every competition right now. So is there any big need in those title race and top four teams that you see in particular that needs to happen?
No, I really don't. I think these teams are, unless you're counting Liverpool in the title race, which you might be. And I think it's fair. I don't think they're that far off. They have a match in hand on some teams. But Liverpool can't react. Let's say the discussion's been for a long time that everyone's going to be racing to Jude Bellingham this summer, right? And you're not going to get him now. No. Spending what Liverpool needs to do is figure out their midfield. But buying a big name now for the second half of the season, when if you think there's any chance that you can get Bellingham or someone like him in the summer, then you don't do that. So I think the January window, that's what makes it feel so unsexy to say it, Joe. Like, aren't we supposed to, in our positions, be advocating for everyone to spend all of their money? But
yeah,
I think the players that are going to be available in the summer, upon the reflection of a full season, upon the reflection of 6 months after the World Cup, they're not available now, at least for a reasonable price tag.
Exactly. You mentioned they sort of got players like Bellingham who had a great World Cup, Enzo Fernandez who had a great World Cup for Argentina. And now they're asking prices right now because they're in great form. They're the hot topics of discussion amongst every top team in the world who wants to sign them. So all of a sudden their price tag is an extra 30 or 40 million quid. And even for the very wealthy clubs in the Premier League, the big boys, they're still not prepared to pay that much. And you're right, Liverpool do need a central midfielder. I actually put together my transfer needs for all 20 Premier League teams. You can head over to PST and read that. And that's the big need for me, for them. For Arsenal, I do think they need that additional winger to help them. Man City don't need anything. I don't think so. I think they're just set and they've got such a stacked squad. They just need to try and get those rotations sorted through all the different competitions. And Man United, they needed a striker. They needed someone to take the pressure off Martial, to just be a bit of a backup solution. And Weghorst is happy to do that. I think it's actually a really good addition. He'll hold the ball up well, bring other attacking midfielders into play. And in certain situations, he'll be a really, really good buy or good loan potential buy for Erik ten Hag's team. So, and I expect them to go big in the summer, like you said, for a Harry Kane or Osimhen from Napoli or a Sesko. Someone like that is probably what Man United are going to go after, right, in the summer. The same as Liverpool are going to probably save their money and go for someone big in the summer. At the other end of the table, though, Nick, which teams need to be busy to stay up? We mentioned Everton, Southampton, Wolves. Who else do you think needs to do business this month, either to drag themselves out of the bottom three or stop themselves from slipping into it?
Yeah, listen, I want to go back to the Everton point for a minute because before I give you the firm answer about them, is there ever a feeling in England that a club, whether it is the way that they've been operationally, you mentioned the board or whatever, is just there's just a vibe that no matter who is on the team that they're gonna go down, that because for Everton, does that ever happen?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just a mess, right? It's just a mess, and the atmosphere just really impacts everything at the club, no matter who the manager, no matter who the players are. And they nearly went down last year, right? And their squad's probably weaker than it was last year. So,
but that's the thing. They're weaker in the sense that Richarlison is gone. For sure. There's no question he saved them last year. He was the main thing that saved them. But I'm looking at all their arrivals this year. They didn't have a splashy signing besides Onana, who I think has been pretty decent. But they did bring in Cody and Tarkowski, who most Premier League teams would be happy to bring those guys in. In fact, Wolves at the beginning of the season, if you listen to their fans, they were talking about how they let their best defender leave. And then you start to look a little further, and Mikolenko, I think, has been very good for them. They bought him last year. Gana Gueye came back. Dwight McNeil was a guy that has a big cachet, whether that's a little bit of the anti-Burnley effect, I don't know. I kind of think they should be doing better, and I don't think they're cooked if they don't add up. Also, James Garner, right, had a loan where we were talking about him being an absolute stud. So there has to be something there. Everton, to me, is the most intriguing non-Big Six story of the rest of this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking at Leeds United and maybe Bournemouth, West Ham as well, just to kind of do a little bit. West Ham I can't figure out because that was a squad that was very good last season. Added some really good players in the guards, Scamacca, obviously Paqueta as well. And you would think, okay, they're going to take that next step and solidify themselves as a top 7-8 team. But they're struggling. They really can't figure out the balance. So I don't know if that means new players. David Moyes said it might do, but maybe it's as simple as finding out the formation and the combinations, because it's weird to see them at the bottom of the table, given how well they've done the last few seasons. And Leeds, I mean, Ruta coming in, right? That potentially that deal's going to happen. They need some help just across the pitch. And Jesse Marsh doesn't want to talk about the transfer window. He comes up and says that all the time. But that's a team that I think really needs to do some business this month at the end of it, because they're only a couple of points above the relegation zone, and it's so tight right at the bottom of the table, all the way up pretty much to Crystal Palace. It's tough to see.
You got to finish your chances, and you mentioned this already. If Patrick Bamford was playing like he did last year, if Calvert-Lewin was playing like he did 2 years ago, and if Scamacca finishes his chances, all of those teams will be free from their troubles. But goals, 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 man. It's the sport. You can't win if you don't score more than the other team.
That's so true. And like Wolves as well is a good example of that, how solid
Raul.
they are defensively. Lopetegui's got them organised already. You can see that, but just can't put away chances or struggle to create chances. So I think every team across the Premier League pretty much is always looking for a striker, but especially that bottom 6 or 7 teams, that's going to be the difference if they can get those forward players in between now and the end of the month. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest transfer news throughout the month of January. We'll have you covered with who's going where. We've got full list of transfers, transfer needs, analysis every day on what's going on, especially around the top 6, because, again, that's very interesting to see the likes of Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, and Newcastle now as well, how they might strengthen to solidify their top 4 push. So intriguing times, Nick. Slow start to the January window, but I feel like we're just going to keep building up from here on out.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.